And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here with us as we are in the Travel Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are just minutes from the mall. They're minutes from the highway, the thruway, Onondaga Lake Parkway. So easy to get to, and the place that I trust when it comes to getting my vehicle. I have worked with Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, over a decade, car after car after car, and I love my new 2025 Honda CR-V, my black on black on black. So make sure you get out there to Great Lakes Honda City today. And for the HR-V, the CR-V, the Passport, the Pilot, the Ridgeline, the Accord, the Civic, and more, you can get to know what they have on the lot by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com and let them know that DT sent you when you head over to the location on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You're with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Today we're going to be splitting the show up into two pieces as we are down in the Sunshine State. And of course, with it being Monday, that means Murph is with me, and Murph's going to join me inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Murph and I will discuss the Masters, Rory McIlroy, and the fact that the man has finally achieved his grand slam in the world of golf. And then we'll jump into Major League Baseball and give you some thoughts on Syracuse's spring game and what I got to do over the weekend with Syracuse, which goes beyond the spring game. So with that being said, we're picture in picture with Murph-elation for the nation. How we doing, Murph?
Doing great, man. That was a heck of a Masters Sunday, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, you had literally 5 guys that could have won this thing in the last 5 holes. It was really fun to watch and really impressive.
Yeah.
And also, if I know you guys already talked about it on the show, but the Gators are national champions, baby.
That's right. That's right. And down here in the great state of Florida, visiting the state that is the home to the Gators of Gainesville, the Florida Gators and Todd Golden winning a championship here. First time in a long time since the early 21st century that the Florida Gators are hoisting up the NCAA tournament's men's Division I championship trophy. Todd Golden's first. And the cool thing here with Todd Golden, him and I are exactly the same age. So he is 39 years old. So when people are like, if I don't know what I'm doing with my life and I'm in my 30s, is it all over? No, I'm chasing my dreams, and Todd Golden just won a national championship. So congratulations to the Florida Gators. Your thoughts on the Gators, because I know that you and I didn't get to discuss it. I discussed it with Papa Joe, who's also a Go-Gator. But your thoughts on having this moment in time to celebrate.
Yeah, and obviously, I'll keep it quick because the Masters was amazing yesterday. I want to get into that, but it was exhilarating the last 7 or 8 minutes of that game. I did not think they were going to win with about a minute left. Even when they took the lead, I did not feel good about it. And then Houston proceeds to not even be able to get a shot off.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck that play was. I don't know what they thought they were doing, but as soon as the ball, he jumps, I don't remember the guy's name, but he jumps up in the air. As soon as he lets go of that ball, it's over. There was no chance Houston was going to get the ball back and get a shot up. And, and then Condon jumps up on top of it, and the final buzzer sounded, and I kind of just sat back on my couch in my bedroom and was just like, I just took it in and enjoyed it, because my teams don't win anything. If you know me, you know my teams never win anything. So it was nice to finally see one of my teams win something. Now, obviously, it didn't mean as much to me as the Mets winning the World Series, the Jets winning the Super Bowl, but it was still pretty cool to actually have one of my teams hoist a trophy and be champions for once.
Yeah, and like you said, you're a Jets fan, you're a Mets fan, so people know your struggles, right? And they live with that, and they understand it. And so to have this moment in time for you as a Gator fan to see what the Florida Gators did on the basketball court. For you, I know you don't watch basketball as much as other sports, but now that we're almost a full week removed because it happened last week, but it happened at night, how have you spent this last week? Are you going to watch more basketball? Are you going to watch the Gators a little bit closer next year? Have you made any promises to yourself?
I mean, I'll probably watch a little bit more next year. I mean, it's not like I didn't follow the team.
Yeah.
Like I still got notifications when they played, and I saw when they won. Like I knew they beat Auburn in the regular season. I knew they were a team that should have been ranked higher than they actually were, because I truly think they were the best team in the tournament, even though they were the fourth ranked number one seed.
Yeah.
But I got all my championship gear. It's not here yet. So I bought that the night of my T-shirt. I bought it the night they won. So I don't know when that's coming, but I will for sure show it off when I get it. But I mean, it's been other than first of all, we talked about this last week. I hated the fact that this game was not over till almost 11:30.
Yeah.
And by the time they did finish the interviews and did the trophy, confetti and everything came down, it was after midnight. I was not happy about that. And luckily I didn't have to wake up the next day, but I don't really stay up late much anymore, like at least not that late.
Yeah.
On my own.
Yeah.
I was very, very cranky on Tuesday morning that I didn't sleep as much, but I still, it was still awesome to see, and I kind of went about my week doing everything I needed to do for work, and did a bunch of things I needed to do. Played a round of golf yesterday, which was a lot of fun. And obviously yesterday I watched the Masters all day once I got home. So that was it was a pretty good week.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, having that opportunity to see that happen and to enjoy that and to be a part of it, I mean, for you and to get that gear. I mean, I remember when Syracuse won, and I have it in my studio. I have the commemorative Sports Illustrated of Carmelo Anthony pointing out, smiling, and it's a black book. And so I got that, made sure that I brought that home. And, of course, I have my championship gear and my championship stuff. And I remember working down at Disney, so it's kind of ironic that we're talking about this up down in Florida and that both of our teams are orange and blue. But I got down to Florida. I was working at Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater, and I see this little kid wearing this shirt, and it was the shirt with the Syracuse ring on it for the national champions. And it was the exact same one I had. And I went over to the little kid. I said, "Hey, man." He looked at me, and I said, "I got that same shirt." He just kind of looked up, was smiling, to me, it was like, it was great to see that, to have those moments. Also, when you're working at Disney, you could put your school, if you're in school, or you could put your hometown. And I put Syracuse, New York, and I would have people almost every single day come up to, when I was working as a vacation planner, come right up to the window, start talking to me about Syracuse, and what do you think, and Cuse in the house. And I remember I was walking next to a guy, I think I was walking into work, and this guy, I don't know, he was like, "Cuse in the house, oh my God." So, it's just moments like that where your team does something as incredible and as special as this moment for you and the Gators, and it just stays forever. And so you'll wear a Gator shirt somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, and somebody will be like, "Go Gators," or they'll just do the chop.
I wear it up here all the time, and I'll get that every once in a while. It's great.
Yeah, and there's a camaraderie. There's this connection. They talk about the brotherhood and the sisterhood of being on a team that wins a championship, but the fans are a part of that too. And so you really get to feel that, and you get to just have a sense for it, and it's beautiful. So enjoy that, because it is something that I will always take in and always appreciate, that I can go pretty much anywhere in the world, and there's some Syracuse fan somewhere saying something to me. So shout out to the Gators for winning their national championship, Todd Golden and the crew, and shout out to the fact that Murph will hopefully have some really cool memories with total strangers like I've had the opportunity to have myself. Speaking of memories, Rory McIlroy, I believe I said a year ago, if not, it was close to a year ago, I said, "Man, I just want this guy to win. I feel for him. It was like personal to me. It got to a point last season where I just felt like I was connected to him and I just wanted him to win. I wanted to see him do it. And I think I had predicted that he was going to do it. And, we look back at last year, we look back at a putt that's oh so close but oh so far, and a bunch of moments in his season last season where things didn't necessarily go his way at all. And then we look at the fact that he wins the Masters yesterday, and now Rory McIlroy is part of the Grand Slam crew. He's won every single major tournament. I'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, and truly this was, the broadcast said 11 years in the making. Rory firmly believes it's 14 years in the making.
Yeah.
Because before Rory ever won the U.S. Open or the PGA or the Open Championship, he had a lead on the 10th tee of the 2011 Masters. And it is one of the epic collapses that we have ever seen at Augusta National. Ends up shooting 80 and falls out of contention. That was really the first time we saw Rory in contention at a major. And then he goes and wins the U.S. Open a couple of months later. So, obviously, he wins all those majors. He wins the 2014 PGA at Valhalla, and then he doesn't win another major. And and he's got 11 chances at winning the career Grand Slam at Augusta.
Yeah.
And he hadn't been able to do it. So, to see him finally get over the hump and finally get the monkey off his back, that's got to feel pretty good for him. And you saw really the emotion that came out when he made that final putt in the playoff to beat Justin Rose, who he and Rory are pretty good friends. And so for Rory there to make that putt after hitting an unbelievable second shot into the 18th green, considering what he did in regulation, and it was almost, and he even said it was almost the exact same yardage.
Yeah.
And he practically shanks it into the bunker and doesn't get up and down, and ends up having to go into the playoff. And then he hits this outstanding wedge shot from practically the same yardage and hits it to 3 feet and makes the putt. And you could see he drops to his knees, he breaks down, and you could see he was very emotional, especially when it came to his family. He was talking about it in Butler Cabin when Scotty put the green jacket on him. He was talking about it at the outdoor jacket ceremony. Got choked up when he was talking about his wife and about his little girl Poppy, who, by the way, if anybody watched the par 3 contest, Poppy drained like a 35-footer on the last hole, which was pretty cool. So Rory must have channeled something from his daughter to make that final putt. But that entire day was something special.
Yeah.
Because Rory has a 2-shot lead going in, makes a double bogey on the first hole, and his 2-shot lead is gone. Bryson makes a birdie on 2. Now Bryson's got a 1-shot lead. And then Bryson basically fell out of contention. He hit a lot of poor shots. He said afterwards that his game was just not in a good place, and he could not find his iron swing at all. Yeah. And his distance control with his wedges was horrendous. Yeah. So he kind of fell out of contention. It was sad to see because I was rooting for either one of those guys, and the guy that led it after round 1 and round 2, Justin Rose, who shot 75 on Saturday, comes out, makes 10 birdies, shoots 66, and challenged Rory in a playoff. The fact that Justin Rose even got to a playoff was more than impressive. He was in I think the 4th to last group, which you don't see that ever. Guy in the 4th to last group having a real chance to win a major championship. So it was really impressive to see that and how he battled.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of putts that he missed that were, probably he should have made. Then he buries a few that are huge. He made a long one on 18 to make birdie to get to post the clubhouse lead at 11 under par. and made it tough on Rory because Rory knew going into the 18th hole that that was the winning score. Actually, on the 17th green, he knew that after he made the birdie on 17. And tell you what, Rory hit some unbelievable golf shots all day. He probably hit two or three of the best shots all week that we saw, but he also hit two of the worst shots that we've seen all week. He hit this, he lays up on 13, and by the way, Rory is a guy that always trusts his driver. He is one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world.
Yeah.
And he didn't really hit the driver well all week. He refused to hit it today or on Sunday. He literally refused to hit it. He had to on 15 and 18. He didn't really have a choice, but because he needed it to win the tournament. But he went away from it. He didn't trust it. Now, I think as somebody who works for TaylorMade Golf, I think it's because he's using last year's driver. That's just me.
Yeah.
But he still won, so you can't really get on him too much for that. We're gonna sell a lot of golf clubs because of this. So thank you, Rory, for doing that because we're gonna hopefully pick up a lot of golf club sales from you winning the Masters finally. But yeah, like he lays up on 13 after hitting 3-wood off the tee, and he has about an 85-yard wedge shot. Decent amount of green to work with. He's still got a 4-shot lead at this point. There's absolutely no reason to go for this pin. It's tucked against the right. There's not a whole lot of green to work with in front of the pin. If you go left, it funnels down towards the hole. So if you take this at the center of the green and you get that downslope, you're going to have a 5-6 footer for birdie. He goes at the pin, and actually, I don't even know if he was trying to go at the pin. He hit, if my guess is correct, and I don't think there's any way Rory is trying to take on that pin.
Yeah.
He's smart enough to know that. He hit it like 25 yards right of his target and rinsed it into Race Creek. That was one of the worst golf shots I have ever seen Rory McIlroy hit. It was a legitimate shank of a wedge from 85 yards. You do not see professional golfers doing that, ever. Literally. And then on 14, he comes back and hits some good shots. And then on 15, he hits this absurd high hook 6-iron around the tree and leaves himself with about a 7-footer for eagle after driving it left towards the trees. He's blocked out, hits this big high sweeping hook, takes the slope, and it finishes about 7 feet. He missed the eagle putt, so he had to settle for birdie. And then he did it again on 17. Hit this shot off the fairway, and immediately was just like, go, 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 because then he thought it was short, and it finishes about 4 feet. And he makes the putt for birdie to get back to 12 under par. So he goes to the 18th, knowing all he's got to do is make par, and Scotty's gonna put the green jacket on him. Hits a decent drive, and then he puts his wedge shot from 125, borderline shank, into the bunker.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't hit a bad bunker shot. He hit it to, 8-9 feet, which out of that bunker is not a bad shot at all. And then he misses the putt on the low side. So the playoff happens, and he ends up going and beating Justin Rose. But, Ludwig Oberg had a shot to win it, but he made a complete mess of the 18th. He had a putt to take the outright lead on the 17th hole, and he missed. And then he makes a complete mess of the 72nd hole. He made a 7 after he drove it in the bunker, hit it off the lip of the bunker so it came back to his feet, hit it into the green side bunker, hit that bunker shot over the green, hit a putt up and over the hill, way past the hole, and then he 2-putted for 7. So Ludwig cost himself a lot of money on the 72nd hole. But it was an unbelievable tournament. It was fun to watch. Anybody that doesn't think that was fun to watch just doesn't understand golf.
Yeah.
Because I saw people on Twitter that were complaining that, like, oh, Rory's not playing good. This sucks. It reminds you that these guys are human and that this golf course is one of the hardest golf courses in the world.
Yeah.
There was a lot of guys that missed a lot of short putts. Patrick Reed re-putted from 4 feet. That doesn't happen to professional golfers.
Yeah.
Well, unless your name is Scotty Scheffler and you got a 4-shot lead at the Masters in 2022, but who's counting? But yeah, it was exciting. There was a lot of guys that had chances to win, and in the end, the guy the crowd clearly wanted to see win it got the job done. And I'm happy for him as someone with Irish heritage, and obviously he's from Northern Ireland, not the Republic of Ireland, but there's not really much animosity from me between Ireland and Northern Ireland. But yeah, I was happy to see him win. As somebody, as a representative of TaylorMade Golf, I felt obligated to root for him, obviously. But I was going to root for him either way because I've always been a Rory fan. I've always liked him. And, I was just worried that he was going to choke it again. And he came close. He definitely came close to, choking it away again. And, if he would have lost by 1, people would have looked back to that mess that he made at the 15th hole on Thursday and said, well, that's part of the reason why. But he also becomes the first player ever to win the Masters with 4 double bogeys over the course of the tournament. Nobody had ever done that before. So it was impressive to watch. It was so fun to see Rory finally get the monkey off his back. And he even asked all the reporters when he got his green jacket, did the press conference, and said, well, what are we going to talk about next year? We don't have to talk about me completing the career Grand Slam anymore because I've already done it.
Yeah.
So he's just the 6th guy ever to complete the career Grand Slam. Not even Arnold Palmer did it. That's what makes this even more impressive. So I want to make sure I get everybody right because there's one name that I don't remember off the top of my head. But I know for a fact he's joining Tiger, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Ben Hogan, and Gene Sarazen.
Yes.
Who won the Masters it was the second ever Masters tournament.
Yeah. That
he won back in 1935. But, obviously he's up there with the greats now. He is a legend of the game. Ben Hogan, Jack, Gary Player, and Tiger are guys that are synonymous with the sport of golf. Everybody knows those names. Everybody knows that they are at the pinnacle of the sport. People probably forget a little bit about Ben Hogan because he was before Jack and Arnie. But Ben Hogan's one of the best to ever do it. And people shouldn't forget about him. But winning the career Grand Slam is something that has eluded even some of the greatest golfers ever. Like I said, Arnie never did it. Phil still needs the U.S. Open. Jordan Spieth still needs the PGA. Jordan Spieth, I think, still needs the PGA. Koepka's won 5 majors, has not won the Masters or the British Open. Colin Morikawa, I believe, he has 2. But there's a lot of guys that are, that have won a lot of majors that have not done the career Grand Slam or even come close, for that matter. Phil's been the runner-up at the U.S. Open 6 times. So he's gotten close, but never gotten it done. And for a while, I thought yesterday, that if Rory didn't win yesterday, he was never going to do it. Because this was his best chance that he's had since 2011 when he shot the 80 in the final round. So it was fun to watch. It was impressive to watch. I'm so happy for him to finally have that monkey off his back. And who knows, I could easily see him rattling off 2 or 3 more majors because of this. Because he hadn't won a major in 11 years. Everyone was saying, is he ever going to win one again? Because he's still won on tour. He's still been great in major championships, in tour events. He's won now 3 times this year. He is still one of the best players in the world. He's the number 2 ranked player in the world for good reason. So I could easily see him rattling off 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 more. Who knows? He's still young. He's still at the top of his game. But getting the monkey off his back and finally completing the career Grand Slam after 11 tries at it is going to be massive for his confidence. I'm so happy for him, and it was just a great Masters Sunday. It really was.
And we will talk more about that when we come back here, and I'll tell you what it was like to be at Disney during the Masters. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Brendan setting us up to continue the conversation of Rory McIlroy and his incredible moments now achieving the Grand Slam and leaving nothing on the table. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servamation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I could tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open Monday through Saturday for sales and service, and you can get a sneak peek at what's on the line at Great Lakes Honda City by going to greatlakeshondacity.com for their new and used vehicles. With that being said, Murph and I are here on Wake Up Call speaking on Rory McIlroy, and I would love to take everything that Murph said that set this up perfectly and add to it a little bit here. Now, Rory McIlroy, as Murph said, joins Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods as the only golfers ever to capture the 4 major championships in the Masters era. And Rory is 35 years old. He's from Northern Ireland. And in the final round of the 89th Masters at Augusta National Golf Club yesterday on Sunday, he defeated Justin Rose in the first hole of a sudden death playoff to win a green jacket and become only the 6th golfer to complete that Grand Slam, as I mentioned. So looking at McIlroy, he said, quote, "This is my 17th time here, and I started to wonder if it would ever be my time. I think the last 10 years coming here with the burden of the Grand Slam on my shoulders and trying to achieve that, yeah, I'm sort of wondering what we're all going to talk about going into next year's Masters," end quote, as Murph said.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that was in Butler Cabin before he got the green jacket.
Yeah. And in the playoff on the par 4 18th, both players hit their tee shots in the fairway. Rose's approach from 187 yards nearly hit the hole on the fly. His ball bounced 15 feet past. McIlroy's second shot was even better, landing on the slope above the hole, with his ball rolling back 4 feet from the cup as the patrons surrounding the green chanted his name. Now we go back and look at this. Rory McIlroy becoming just the 6th player in history to accomplish the career Grand Slam, which is winning the Masters, the Open Championship, the U.S. Open, and the PGA Championship. Let's look at how all 6 did it. What was the final one that gave them the Grand Slam? Well, the 1935 Masters gave Gene Sarazen the Grand Slam. The 1953 Open did it for Ben Hogan. The 1965 U.S. Open did it for Gary Player. The 1966 Open did it for Jack Nicklaus. The 2000 Open did it for Tiger Woods. And the 2025 Masters did it for Rory McIlroy. So that's how they all did it here. And Rory said, quote, and as you said, it was 14 years in the making. He had a quote about that, said, quote, "I would say it was 14 years in the making from going out with a 4-shot lead in 2011, feeling like I could have gotten it down there. Yeah, there was a lot of pent-up emotion that just came out on that 18th green. A moment like that makes all the years and all the close calls worth it," end quote. And you hear that all the time from people, right? You go through hell, you don't know why you're going through it, you keep moving, and then you realize something in your life, be it work-wise, be it romantically, be it family, be it friendship, and you say to yourself, I went through all this hell, and in the moment I was thinking about the hell, but now that I'm in the heaven part, if this is what it took to get here, it was worth it. And hearing Rory say, like, I went through all this stuff, I was wondering if it was ever going to be me, I've been here 17 times, but then to say it's all worth it, now to feel what he's feeling. And I thought that that was huge because I think it works in anything in life. Tiger Woods publicly said, "Welcome to the club, Rory McIlroy. Completing the Grand Slam at Augusta is something special. Your determination during this round and this entire journey has shown through, and now you're part of history. Proud of you," end quote. That coming from Tiger Woods himself. So great to see this. Great to have this moment for Rory. Great for him to join a group that now has 6. And we wonder, will we see a Scotty Scheffler? Will we see a Bryson DeChambeau and so on and so forth be a part of these moments? And I hope that we will. I really do. I hope that now it's okay, who's the next person going to be? But the fact that we've heard of the Schefflers and the DeChambeaus last season when Rory McIlroy was struggling, and now for Rory to be at the top of the mountain is a pretty special thing. And I hope that other people get to join and get to appreciate and support one another along the way. Any final notes, Murph?
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's an amazing thing to see it happen, not only just for Rory, but to have it happen at a place as special as Augusta. And you see guys that come there and want to do their best there. Obviously, we saw the highs with Rory completing the career Grand Slam. We saw the lows with the 2023 U.S. Amateur champion Nick Dunlap shooting a 90 in the first round.
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't know that is, that is interesting to say the least. 90. I'm wondering if I could shoot 90 out there. Obviously, the average golfer, no chance. If you're around scratch, it's probably not impossible, but I would think it's not likely. We'll see. I don't think I'll ever get to play Augusta. I don't plan to ever if I do ever get the honor and privilege to play there, it would be something where I'd probably be so nervous that I wouldn't care about what I score, because playing Augusta National would not be like playing Bethpage Black or like TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah.
It's Augusta National.
Yeah.
The history and the significance of the place and would probably just scare the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was impressive. It was fun to watch. Jack and Tiger obviously expressed their support for Rory, and you saw it as he was walking through the patrons to get to the scorer's tape, or the back to the clubhouse to Butler Cabin, and you saw his long embrace with Shane Lowry, who's a fellow Irishman, one of his best friends on tour, and you could kind of see Rory just crack a smile right before he got to Shane Lowry and all of his buddies that were there and his family, and yeah, you have to feel good for him. And as far as who's next, the answer is I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because the only ones that are close will probably never do it. I mean, Phil's needed the U.S. Open forever. I don't see him getting the U.S. Open anytime soon. He would have to be the oldest player to ever win a major to do that, and he already is that. So, it's not impossible, but it's not likely, especially with how difficult the U.S. Open plays. The U.S. Open is the most difficult conditions for a golf tournament in the world. This is a tournament where you will routinely see the winner being maybe 2 or 3 under par. Might even be over par. Which it makes these golfers, it makes you remember these guys are human too. Like, this course is freaking hard. Pinehurst last year with Bryson and Rory was difficult. Right? Brooks Koepka won at, I believe it was at Shinnecock, was over par. It is seriously impressive to see these guys play. And, Spieth is another guy that's got a chance. I don't see him ever getting there. His game is not what it once was.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas has only won the PGA. Scotty's only won the Masters. Bryson's only won the U.S. Open. Now, granted, they have all got 2 of those championships. Koepka's halfway there. He's got 3 PGAs and 2 U.S. Opens. The Masters, I could see it. I don't know if Koepka's got the game to win an Open, but we'll see. As far as I can say, the next Grand Slam winner might not be a professional yet. It wouldn't shock me. Scotty's the only one that I could maybe see that's playing now.
Yeah.
But nobody else is close other than Phil and Spieth, and I don't think either one of them is going to get it done at any point. Rory, you kind of figured it was only a matter of time, because he's still young. He's only 35. Like, he's going to have a lot more chances at the Masters. So you figured there was only a matter of time before he finally got it, and he did. So I'm happy for him. I'm thrilled for him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. And obviously the PGA is coming up in May. I forget offhand where it is. I know the U.S. Open's at Oakmont. Let us double check. It is at Quail Hollow. which is in, I believe it's in Kentucky. No, sorry, Charlotte, North Carolina. So the PGA coming up in about a month.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I got no idea who's gonna win that tournament at this point.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be Rory. I mean, he could be halfway to hit to the Rory Slam. You hit on Tiger winning the career Grand Slam at the 2000 Open Championship at St Andrews. That was square in the midst of the Tiger Slam. And if you don't know what that is, Tiger Woods is the only player in the history of the sport to hold all 4 major championships at the same time. He didn't do it in the same calendar year. It was the 2000 U.S. Open Championship, PGA Championship, and then the 2001 Masters.
Yeah.
But it is still unbelievably impressive. I highly doubt we'll ever see anybody do that again. But it goes back to how dominant Tiger was in that stretch from 1999 till about 2002, 2003. That 5 or 6 year stretch, it was some of the best golf we've ever seen. But Rory, congrats to you, man. I'm thrilled for you, and hopefully here's to many more to come. I'd love to see you get a few more majors and creep up that leaderboard.
Yeah, and like we said, he's 35 years old. There's time to do it. There's opportunity to do it. So congratulations to Rory McIlroy joining a very, 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 very tiny group of people, 6 ever, that have won a Grand Slam in the world of golf, winning every single one of the 4 majors. So a shout out to Rory once again for that. To jump into baseball here, to go from the field of greens to the field of dreams. We have the
I like that.
Thank you. We have the Justin Steele story. This is a sad one. Chicago Cubs pitcher will have season-ending surgery to repair the flexor tendon in his left elbow. That news came from manager Craig Counsell, and that was told yesterday, over the weekend. It was unclear whether Steele, who underwent Tommy John surgery in 2017, will need another full ligament replacement procedure or a Tommy John revision with an internal brace. The 29-year-old left-hander will be sidelined until 2026. Counsell said, quote, "On a day like this, you feel for Justin. It's kind of the life of a major league pitcher, these injuries that make you miss most of the season." But I talked to him this morning, and he has a great attitude about it, and as he always does. He knows that it's part of the career he's chosen. He's going to take it a step at a time and do the best he can to come back even better, end quote. Now, Steele was placed on the injured list last week after feeling discomfort in his elbow following his last start. He threw 7 shutout innings against the Rangers on Monday, but still felt pain after arriving at the stadium the next day when he had treatment. He will end this season 3-1 with a 4.76 ERA in 4 starts. And overall, he is 32-22, a 3.30 ERA in 91 career starts, which have all been with Chicago. So a sad day for Justin Steele and the Cubs. But for the Boston Red Sox, speaking of Tommy John surgery, they get to call somebody up. Michael Fulmer will be finding his way back to the majors here. Former AL Rookie of the Year is returning from Tommy John surgery. He was brought up from the minor leagues on Sunday, so the same day Justin Steele gets placed on the injured list, we have Michael Fulmer come up to the majors coming off of that Tommy John surgery. And so we're looking at this right now. They placed right-hander Richard Fitz on the 15-day injured list with a right pectoral strain. So the 32-year-old right-hander Fulmer has not pitched in the big leagues since 2023. And ironically, as I tell these stories side by side, he was a Cub back then. He had Tommy John revision surgery on October 18th, 2023, 3 days before my birthday, signed a minor league contract with Boston the following February 2nd, 2024, and did not pitch last year. Fulmer had a .79 ERA in 5 spring training appearances for the Red Sox, striking out 12 and walking 3 in 11 and a third innings. He has a 3.09 ERA in 2 starts and 1 relief appearance for AAA Worcester, which is spelled Worcester for those of you wondering, or Worcester, and he struck out 18, walked 6 in 11 and 2/3 innings. His 4-seam fastball averages 92.4 miles per hour. Fulmer was the 2016 AL Rookie of the Year with Detroit, had Tommy John surgery on March 27, 2019, and returned to the major leagues on July 27, 2020, just after the start of the pandemic-shortened season. He's 37-50 with a 3.94 ERA in 90 starts and 172 relief appearances for Detroit from 2016 to 22, Minnesota in 22, and the Cubs in 23. So this is the first time we're going to see him in the majors as a Red Sox. But your thoughts on that? As we see one current Cub go down, we see one former Cub come up. It both has to do with Tommy John surgery, and one has 91 starts and the other one has 90 starts. So kind of interesting how that happened.
Yeah, and you got a feel for Justin Steele, and he's came up and finished high in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2023 and had a very strong performance last year. And then this year, obviously, comes out and elbow was barking at him, and now he needs surgery on his elbow. Like you said, we don't know if it's Tommy John or what exactly it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ohtani had that surgery a year and a half ago. We still don't know what it was. So we may never know what surgery Justin Steele is actually having. But, it's sad. He's a great pitcher, and the Cubs have kind of relied on him as their ace for the last couple of years, and they're going to be without him for a while. They did just beat the Dodgers last night on Sunday Night Baseball to they actually they're 11-7. The Dodgers are 11-6. So, for the record, the Dodgers are in third place in the NL West at the moment.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd put that out there. While the Mets are in first place in the NL East. Thank you very much. But yeah, and then Michael Fulmer, obviously former Met, he was the centerpiece of the Yoenis Cespedes trade back in 2015. Goes to the Tigers, wins Rookie of the Year, and kind of bounced around a little bit over the last couple of years and bounced back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen, and he's kind of found his place with the Red Sox now as they're bringing him up. And I hope it goes well. Obviously, I root for guys who are former Mets, and especially guys that were involved in trades that helped us do good things.
Yeah.
So, Pete Crow Armstrong, who's currently with the Cubs, has been great for them. Obviously, the Mets got him for Javier Baez, and I was... I'm happy for him. I'd love to see him continue to do well. Fulmer, I believe, was a second-round pick in, I want to say, 2013, because he was coming up in that same class, just behind like Syndergaard and Steven Matz and Wheeler and Harvey and all those guys. So he was considered, the top of the guys that were still in the minors at the time, and. I hope he does well with the Red Sox. The Red Sox are in need of some pitching, even though Garrett Crochet did take a no-hitter into the seventh inning against his former team yesterday. So that was interesting to see. But, the Red Sox are doing their thing. They are, they haven't been, as good as we would have liked, but, they've played a fairly tough part of the schedule to start the season. They opened up against the Rangers, who is always a tough team. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Rangers. Then they played the Orioles and took 2 out of 3. And then they had a game postponed against the Cardinals. They won 2 games. They won 3 games there. Then they got swept lost 3 out of 4 to the Blue Jays and lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. So, it hasn't been the most ideal start. But we kind of knew that the Red Sox were going to be a team that, going into the season, had a lot of new faces, with Alex Bregman in there and Garrett Crochet coming in as well. Rafael Devers moving to DH, which we all know he was not a fan of. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do going forward. Obviously, Devers started the year, I think it was 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. But he's kind of turned it around, and he's figuring things out. Bregman's been just okay. So, it's a team that's a tough division, but it's a team that you expect is going to be doing some things this year. And, hopefully Michael Fulmer can come up and create a little spark for them.
Yeah. Looking at how early we are in this season and what the Boston Red Sox can do. I want to shout out, there's a Red Sox fan in heaven, and his name is Bernie, and he just had a heavenly birthday within the last few days here. So I want to give him a shout out, and I hope he's sitting in his recliner with his channel changer on his left leg and enjoying the Boston Red Sox. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, DT and Murphy inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I want to hit with this really quick. The Syracuse Orange Spring Game happened over the weekend. A lot of spring games happening. Some spring games were canceled, and this one went on here, and it was good to see. It was good to see. I mean, Syracuse has 7 quarterbacks right now, and I got to break the news despite the fact that the media took credit for it once again. But, I mean, at this point, it's just become laughable at the fact that they won't give me credit for my work, especially
They brought in a transfer to start at QB, right?
They did. They brought in Ricky Collins Jr. from LSU, and I broke the story hours before that he was not going to be participating due to a hand injury. The hand injury is not going to affect him this season going into the season. It's not a major concern, and so he did not participate. Jakari Williams took his place. We got to see Jakari. We got to see Rich Bellin. We got to see A.J. Miller, Luke Carney, as well as Joseph Filardi and Michael Johnson Jr. A lot of guys got out there for Syracuse, and there was some really, really awesome passes. Luke Carney had this pass where he took a bad snap, grabbed it off the ground, and then launched the ball down the left sideline, and we see a one-handed reel-in grab, which was absolutely, undeniably insane. It might be off my story now because it was up there for the 24-hour period, but it was one of the best catches that I've seen in my life. So to see Syracuse with so many different quarterbacks, Yasin Willis is now supposed to be taking over, as we know that LaQuint Allen Jr. is looking to have his name called in the NFL draft. So Yasin, and it's funny how people told me, like, he's so big, da-da-da. I said, yeah, listen to the story I did with him. My conversation with him through spring camp was, how did you get more muscular? How did you get bigger? He trimmed more body fat. He looks like he ate himself in a good way, though. And he's a big, big dude. So I'm excited for Yasin Willis. I know people are excited to see him as well. So definitely looking forward to what he's got going on and everything that is to come with Yasin Willis. The wide receivers, Emmanuel Ross, Justice Ross Simmons. There's a bunch of guys that Syracuse should be looking forward to. And, I mean, the spring game is the spring game, right? You're playing up against each other. There were some penalties. You never like to see those things. There were some low snaps from backup centers and whatnot. And Josh Alawa is not on the team anymore. He did some work there at center, so obviously that affects it a little bit. And then we went from having a big old guy named Washington, and now there's a big old guy named Washington. Not the same guy, but wearing the same number and having the same last name. So excited for that. And more important than the spring game, I would say, is the fact that Syracuse is really elevating overall. And I got to tour the new Performance Center. I got to be at the ribbon cutting for it. And the first thing that you see when you walk through the door is Floyd Little Atrium, one of my closest friends and one of the very few people that I involved in my process of starting my own business. Floyd Little, and when I say involved, I talked to G-Mama, I talked to my mom, I talked to my dad, and I talked to Floyd. And I will never forget when I was at a crossroads what Floyd said. I was hurting. I was dealing with a lot of stuff that was not fair. It was mean. It was hurtful. I wasn't getting paid a lot of money. I wasn't getting the same opportunities no matter what I did. And I will never forget going into Floyd's office. It was the first time we did an interview. And he leaned back in his chair and he said, and if you know Floyd, he would whisper and then he'd get louder. He said, you got this aura around you. You just got this aura. And he said, some people got it, some people don't. He's like, you got this energy. And I can see it. And other people can see it. He said, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. He said, I can see you're going to be successful. And he doesn't understand that conversation was the last conversation I needed to start my own business. And my business will turn 13 years old this July. And I am extremely emotional about it because I miss him. And I miss his hugs, and I miss his words. I miss sitting in the parking lot of Destiny USA and talking to him for an hour on the phone about anything. Floyd Little knew so many people. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players to ever come through Syracuse. But if you actually knew Floyd, he was just Floyd. He was just Floyd. He was a kind, compassionate, giving, selfless, God-fearing, hardworking, dedicated man. Husband, father, grandfather, friend. And I still go into Syracuse. I still go into rooms for press conferences. And I still look for him in that room. And I think sometimes he's going to be there. He's going to have his big old blue suit on with his orange shirt or his orange tie. He turns around in a room full of donors and former players and current players and coaches and media, sees my face, catches eyes with me, smiles big and says, "Dan, there he is." And he just would give me a big old hug. A man who is larger than life, a man who changed my life just by being there. Somebody who you think you would walk by and see a statue of, someone who you would hear stories about, but not someone you ever thought you'd be blessed to know. He sat with my dad. He sent a happy 100th birthday to my G-Mama. Floyd Little went above and beyond as a human being. And to know that the new Performance Center's first name when you walk through the door says Floyd Little Atrium, it made me emotional. It made me appreciative. It's the only name that should be in that atrium. It's the only name you should see when you walk through the door. And I know Herm Fraser had something to do with it because Floyd is one of his best friends. And that's something that Herm and I have in common, as we had the absolute pleasure, the honor, and the privilege to know one of God's greatest angels while he was here on this earth, serving. So, Floyd, I miss you. I respect you. I appreciate you. And I have nothing short of admiration, appreciation, and justification to keep going out there and doing good in this world because of the person he decided to be. He chose to be. So to his wife, Deborah, and to everyone involved, thank you, Floyd. And to the people that don't know this, I walk up the same staircase every time I go to a Syracuse football game at the Dome. There's a giant picture of Floyd Little. I kiss my hand, and I touch the picture when I go in. I kiss my hand, and I touch the picture when I go out. It's the last thing I do before a game, and it's the first thing I do when I leave a game. So, there's a lot of good things happening at Syracuse. I want to thank Fran Brown, John Wildhack, Kent Siverud, everybody that's worked on this. Of course, John Lally. But if you know, you know. And Floyd Little his spirit is with me so much right now. And I have no words into how much I need it. So, you touch my heart, Floyd. You always have, you always will. And I love you more than I could say. With that being said, DT and Murphy will be back with you next week. And Murph, as always, I appreciate you spending some time.
Yes, sir.
We will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call, and we will finish off this broadcast with a message right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. You will find them by simply going to, right off of Teal Ave, to 639 Delmar Place, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. They have hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, football cards, as well as AEW, Disney, Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. You never know what you're going to find at GG Cards and Breaks. They are unique in how they treat people. They are unique in the fact that they go above and beyond. And one of those things that you see every time you walk in about going above and beyond is they have every NFL, every NBA, and every MLB team. You can literally be a Boston Red Sox fan, a Detroit Pistons fan, and a Dallas Cowboy fan. And you can find those teams every day at GG Cards and Breaks. Rookies, potential autos, numbered cards, relic cards. You never know what you're going to find in those boxes. Those aren't just base card boxes. Those boxes have some really cool finds, really unique finds at GG Cards and Breaks. They have singles, they have graded cards, packs, boxes. So you can buy something that you're looking at and you already know what you're getting, or you can test your luck and see if you can get something special. Being a big kid is important. In today's world, in any day's world, it's important to keep that spirit of a child. And GG Cards and Breaks keeps it alive, and they do it better than most. You'll find them at 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Let them know that DT sent you. With that being said, inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I want to thank you for tuning into today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Over the last few weeks, we've done a lot of broadcasts from down in the great state of Florida. It is our second home, and it's been extremely imperative and important to me to make sure that when I say second home, I mean second home, which means that I'm down here throughout the year. It means that I'm covering teams like UCF in South Florida, FAU, Florida State, Miami. We've done work with the Tampa Bay Rays, the Orlando Magic, the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tampa Bay Bucks, and obviously we do recruiting, which means we're talking to high schools up and down the great state of Florida. So when it comes to the Sunshine State, we have built relationships for many, many years, over a decade. We have our fantasy football league that's down here that's over 13 years old, and we have tremendous people that are a part of that league. I want to thank Mark and Stefan. I want to thank Brennan. I want to thank the entire Cooper family, Eric, everybody from the Cooper family. I want to thank Rick. I want to thank Jason. I want to thank Nick and everyone who has come out and supported Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When I was living in Kissimmee, Florida, over a decade ago, I said that Florida is my second home. I will do everything in my power to keep these connections that I built, and I will always be there for them, the listeners, the viewers, the fans, the readers. It's weird for me to say fan because I believe you should be a fan, a supporter of God. Having a human being have a fan is just, it's weird to me. But for those that support me, I said, I got y'all. And if you can believe me and trust me that I got you and you can get me back, I would definitely appreciate that. And they have gotten me back. Those people that have been there for me over the years, that were there for me when I was broadcasting here, have continued to support me and shown me love. They've continued to be there for me, and our relationships have only grown. I cannot thank you all enough for the love and support. I cannot thank you all enough for the kindness, the generosity, and the giving of your time. So I want to thank the great state of Florida. I'm here for a reason. I'm here because I care. And I've worked my butt off to make this the second hub of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. With our Do Diz with Dan show, super-powered pop and comic book trails that can go anywhere. My co-host for Two Mics No Filter lives down in Florida. And obviously Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora has had a lot of connections down here, be it high school or professional, as well as the businesses that we've had the opportunities to work with, and hopefully all that is to come. So from the great state of Florida, I ask you to have a beautiful day. I ask you to be good to each other. And I'm going to read the definition of love because I think that this is incredibly important to remember. Because a lot of us say we love, but do we do all these things? Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So if you're wondering if you have love in your life, see if those things, and they may not be met all the time. There may be moments where somebody struggles with that. You struggle with that. A partner struggles with that. A family member, a friend, somebody you work with struggles with that. But if you can look at that definition of love and say that you strive to be patient, you want to be kind, you do not envy, you do not boast, you're not trying to be proud, you're not trying to dishonor anybody, you're not self-seeking, you want everybody to succeed in the relationship, you don't keep a record of wrongs. That is something this world really needs to work on. You don't delight in evil, you rejoice always with the truth. You protect, you trust, you hope, you persevere. Love never fails. So if you're wondering if you have love in your life, is it persevering even when you fight it? That's something to think about. From the great state of Florida, I got a tan to get, and you got a day to enjoy. Go and watch my video going on right now on Facebook.com and YouTube.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, for an all-new box break presented by GG Cards and Breaks. For Brendan Murphy and myself, Dan Tortora, from Florida, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. I say to you, God bless, no stress, do your best. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I pray that your day today gives you peace, reminds you of love, and that whatever you're facing today, God will help you through. Amen.